everyone, this is Julianne Victoria. Welcome to my channel. This is our full moon reading for the full moon that occurs on October 6th, 2025 at 8:47 p.m. and that's here on the Pacific coast of the US. So it will be on the 7th for everyone, Europe and the rest of the way around the world. And this is, as you can see, the Vedic astrology perspective on this full moon. So for this full moon, the moon is in the sign of Pisces, conjoined Saturn, and of course full moons are opposite the sun. Interestingly, there are no other drishtis on this full moon, of course the sun, right, which is opposite, but we just have this conjunction with Saturn and the moon. Now the moon is in the nakshatra of Revati, and the symbol of that is the two fish, as well as the symbol for Pisces. This is one of the nakshatras that includes the three Gandanta points, where the sun and moon's cycles coincide at the end at the 29th degree. And that feels very significant, especially because we have Saturn here. He is retrograde, which tends to intensify and internalize the energy of the planet. And he rules transformation. And it's in this deep psychological, unconscious Piscean Revati realm. Saturn isn't in Revati, but he's here in Pisces with the moon, bringing his transformative power to the full moon energy. So full moons bring things to light, to culmination, to awareness. They shed light on things, reflecting the light of the sun, of course, and the sun is still in Virgo. We're still in the wake of the eclipse energy. So if you didn't watch the eclipse reading or the eclipse astrology, check that out. It'll be linked at the end. So the moon is reflecting a lot of eclipse stuff, I'll say that. Eclipse awareness. Now it was very material and physical realm matters with the eclipse. And now we're asked to reflect upon it deeply, this Piscean energy. Meditate on it. Look within. See what transformation can and is occurring within each of us at the time of this full moon. Now, full moon energy will last the next 2 weeks or until the next full moon, so the next month, right? The next month-long period. And yeah, I just feel like we are asked to reflect within. How can we grow within from deep inside? It's not easy, right? Especially with Saturn's energy. We will have to face our own obstacles, our own challenges that we hold deep inside of us. So we have to look at our complexes, or if you're really into it, work on some deep shadow work. I do recommend working with someone for that. But looking within ourselves, how can we change? How can we transform and grow? How have we transformed and grown? What has been triggered by the past month of eclipse cycle? And where do we want to transform deep within? It's an internal process right now with this full moon. That is what is being highlighted. That is what is coming to light. Now in Revati is ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules all the nakshatras that cross the Gandanta point. And Mercury here at the time of this full moon is in the sign of Libra, which is about justice. It's about balance. And I really feel like the balance is what's being called forth here. Because the eclipse, the new moon solar eclipse was very much, focusing on material and physical things. The balance now comes with this full moon of working on the internal, the non-tangible, the psychological, the deeply spiritual aspect of ourselves. Now, Mercury is the psychopomp. He connects the realm of spirit and the physical. And so that sort of reiterates that energy of like bringing that balance to not just having our focus on material and physical things, that which is outside of us, but on the internal. So if you've been lacking in your spiritual practice, having stepped away from any introspection, some meditation, or you feel you need that, this full moon is calling you to that. Okay, that is the gist of this full moon. Again, the only real drishti is the sun opposite, which we know it's a full moon, and Saturn conjoined. A time to turn within. And at least in this northern hemisphere with it, we're into fall, we're into the dark half of the year, we're past the equinox. It is a time for more reflection, and this full moon is really calling us to that. All right, that is our Vedic astrology perspective on this full moon in Pisces in Revati Nakshatra. Thank you everyone for being here. I will have the Western astrology perspective posted soon and the tarot reading soon after. Have a great full moon.